Hi there, friend. We are back. Today, we are going to talk about the safety equation. So, I'm going to be talking a lot about worth plus power equals safety. So, someone great once said, the way that we feel about ourselves in the world is creating the world we live in. So whether we feel safe in the world or we don't, the decision that we make about is this a safe place to live or not means everything. It is probably the most important decision that you make. And I think sometimes what happens is our thoughts start running the show, and then feelings happen, and then behaviors happen. So I want to talk a little bit about our thoughts and our brain. And I also want you to remember that everything I teach you comes down to worth plus power equals safety. And worth is the way we feel about ourselves. It's measured in the way of how we care for ourselves, how we love ourselves, how we look at ourselves, what we think we are worth. And then empowerment is our personal power, the way we get to choose, the way we get to make decisions. The more personal power we have, the more choices we can see. So sometimes we know the choice we want to make, or we know the right decision, or we know the right choice. And yet, as long as you have a choice, you are empowered. And so I'm going to talk about each of these separately, but bottom line is that when we know our worth and we feel empowered, we feel safe. We feel okay in the world. And maybe safe means feeling at peace. Maybe safe means acceptance. Maybe it means calm. So think about what it would look like to feel safe, to feel peaceful, to feel okay. It all comes down to our brain. So our brain is magnificent, and our brain talks to us. Sometimes, cartoons will have, the little devil and the angel, right? And we kind of think of that as like, oh, that's our subconscious, I think that's a funny way to look at it, like, the devil and the angel, kind of the good and the bad, right? So our brain talks to us. And what we have to realize is that our brain is not us. Your brain is not you. The thoughts that come out of your brain do not define you. And the best way to feel safe in the world is to know that truth, that your brain is not you, that the thoughts that come out of your brain are not you. You are the observer of the thoughts that come out of your brain. So your brain and the subconscious mind will actually lie to you. Its job in the primitive form, our survival method, the brain is supposed to keep us safe. So a lot of times our brain is taking data from all around, especially, as we grow up, we are collecting data, and the brain's job is to keep you safe. So what happens is, as the brain's trying to keep you safe, it believes it needs to keep you the same. So your brain lies to you. And the quickest way to figure out how to take charge and how to change the way you feel and change the way you behave is to start with the thoughts that are being produced by your brain. The most clever thing that we can do is remember your thoughts are not you. They don't define you. And when you can put yourself in the observer and just observe what your brain is bringing to you, the quicker you can understand and learn how to manage and control what you believe, what you act on, what you think, you will feel better. You get to choose. This is a very empowering thing to look at your thoughts your brain gives you and actually play the observer. Just notice what your brain is bringing you and realize that you do have control over your thoughts. You have power. You have choices to focus and give energy to each thought that comes up. So the subconscious mind is trying to protect you. It wants to keep you the same. And if you stay the same, that means you do not change and you do not grow. So anytime change is happening and occurring, your brain is fighting to go back to the way it was. Whether it's a good change or a bad change, the brain doesn't care. It just is trying to find safety. That's its job. Its job is to protect you. Except it doesn't have the logic to do that on another level. When we're talking about, I just think of a bear, right? So if a bear is going to attack you, your brain knows how to release adrenaline, fight, flight, get you to safety. It understands how to save your life. The brain, on another level, as soon as you're safe, it does not know how to keep you at peace. You have to train it. And part of this whole program is rewiring your brain. Learning more about your worth, your power, and your safety. And it all comes down to training our brain, taking control and managing our thoughts. So if you think of our brain is kind of like a pharmacy. And our thoughts are like prescriptions. So let's use an example like I need to lose weight. So I have the thought, like a prescription, I need to lose weight. Or even worse, I should lose weight. So I write that prescription, I send it to my brain, and then your brain has a way of sending out chemicals to your body. So I get the prescription, I take it to the brain releases chemicals to the rest of the body, and that is actually, there's these receptors that are coming up, and the brain literally is sending chemicals that attach to these receptors that here I should lose weight. So what happens is I keep having that thought and more chemicals come down and attach to these receptors over and over. And then what is so brilliant about the human body is that if there's more of the chemical coming down to say I should lose weight, then if there's not enough receptors, the body knows how to make more receptors. So cells divide and there's more receptors for the prescription, the thought, I should lose weight. Now we all know when we hear that, I should lose weight, or I should be making more money, there is a shameful thought process that comes with that. And those chemicals are coming down and attaching to these receptors. And then when there's more chemicals, the body realizes, oh, we need more receptors for this chemical. So it divides and multiplies. And so now there's these receptors that become attached. There's a craving for that chemical to be released. I should lose weight. I should make more money. So then if I try to stop that signal, these receptors are sitting there like, wait a minute. I'm here, I'm waiting for that drug. It's just like a drug. Your brain, with thoughts, there is a chemical release. And so what I want to show you here is that there is a positive and a negative to being able to take that control of what your body and the receptors that are being multiplied. You can use that for your benefit. You can use that to catapult the change you want to see. So your brain is like a pharmacy, and your thoughts are the prescription. And then the pharmacy fills the prescription. It releases the chemical to the body. These receptors attach and get used to that chemical that's being fulfilled. And then if there's more chemicals being released, the body will adjust and divide and multiply so it can keep receiving that. Then, if I decide, you know what, I'm going to choose a different thought, there is there's kind of like a withdrawal, because you have all these receptors that are built for that chemical that's shaming you and trying to motivate you into losing weight or make more money. So your body is craving that particular thought, and it will continue this vicious cycle until it's broken. So there is a solution to this. There's an amazing solution to this. And I will say, okay, we gotta get this cat out of here. Go on. I will say that our thoughts are so powerful, and you have the power to change. You have the power to produce different thoughts. You have the power to take a different prescription to your brain. And you have the power to release chemicals and make receptors in your body for things you want to create. How cool is that? So, what we believe and what we think has everything to do with our worth, our power, our safety. So I feel so excited for you, because this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to look at life through different eyes, through a different perspective. And if you're ready, if you're really sick and tired of being sick and tired, we can take another prescription to your brain. And this is so exciting because we are going to change the way you think, which in turn is going to change the way you feel and is going to change the way you behave. So if you were feeling fantastic, if you were feeling joy and freedom and peace, how do you think that changes your behavior? I know if I'm feeling down, that changes my behavior. I know that when I'm feeling up, that changes my behavior. I know that by learning how to rewire my brain, I get different results. Today, I still use this technique to switch and create a new way of life, a new feeling, a new behavior. I want to talk just a little bit about body posture, because the way our brain also gets signals is through the way we hold ourselves. So there has been so much research and studies that have shown that just by having good posture, just by smiling, when we smile, it tells our brain, it gives a signal, it actually gives a prescription, I'm happy. That's what happens in our brain when our body posture gives a signal. So our posture is always giving signals to our brain. It's another way to give a prescription to our brain. So they've actually done studies and research to prove that body language can change the way you think faster than a verbal affirmation. So there's been a lot said about positive affirmations, and there still are lots of incredible things about verbal affirmations. I am confident. I am happy. The thing is, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I am happy. I am thin. I am wealthy. And what does your brain do? If you haven't trained your brain, it's like, no, you ain't. I see those fat rolls in the mirror, and I'm just looked at your banking account, and you're not wealthy. So your brain can fight you. Your thoughts can fight you. You know, there's like this mental war, right? You see the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. The angel's like, you're wonderful. You're wealthy. You're skinny. Everything's perfect in your life. And the devil's like, no, it ain't. And it's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I want you to know, if you can step outside and be the observer of those thoughts, it doesn't matter if it's the angel or the devil, or if it's good or bad or holy or evil. There is no, there are more. There is more to it than that. It's our brain likes to categorize things into that's good, that's bad. That sucks, that's attractive. Ugly, beautiful. We like to do that. And what I want to describe to you is learning how to look at your thoughts as an observer and focus on what you're looking for and using all your thoughts as like information. It's just data. And things that we experience in life is experience. And we get to collect information. So when we look at things when we don't have to categorize it as this is good, this is bad, this is ugly, this is beautiful, we can just look at it as this is information. And then with our logic, we can ask questions about, is this true? Is this really true? Do I absolutely know that this is the truth? Is this what I want? We get to investigate. We get to be curious. We get to do an inventory of what our thoughts are telling us. And if you just look at it as data, if you just look at it as information, then we can look through the information we've gathered and then make a choice. And you know what happens when we gather information? We get to see different opportunities and choices in our life. And that is empowering. So one of the things that personal power gives us, that's part of this safety equation, is choices. There are always choices. And we're going to go into more about what empowerment means and what personal power suggests, but it's about having choices. So when I gather information, then I get to choose. And you don't have to categorize it into this is bad, this is good. I get to just collect information and then make a choice. Now, back to body posture. Our brain is wired to our body language. If we cry, there's something associated with that in our brain. And again, our brain releases chemicals. When we cry, a lot of things happen. So, crying releases lots of chemicals. One of them is a relaxing chemical. There's serotonin, and if you ever notice when you have a good cry, usually it actually feels better afterwards, and you can take a good nap, and it seems like you sleep better that night. When you smile, they've talked about just walking, and the benefit of just making eye contact with another human being and smiling makes us feel better. And it's because a chemical is being released from your brain. It's just like taking a prescription to the brain and a chemical is released. So our body language shapes us. And when we stand tall, when we have a good posture, it's telling our brain, I'm confident. When you're able to stand tall, your brain receives a prescription. So let's take some examples. So what do people do in football when someone gets a touchdown? Or people dance. Wow, dancing is a great body language. How do we feel when we dance? Your brain is getting a signal when you dance. Your brain gets a signal when you put your arms up, when you smile, when you stand tall and big. I love this, kind of putting your hands on your hips kind of reminds me of Wonder Woman, right? It's a power statement to your brain. Putting your hands out to the side, being big, your brain gets a signal. Men actually have a little bit better lead on this body language than women do. And it has a lot to do with even just the way we were raised. Men technically will kind of lean back in their chair and they will kind of open their legs, right? And men have no problem kind of, taking up space. Where women have been taught to be small and dainty and cross their legs. And that has been shown in society to be ladylike, to be small. And men are supposed to be big and strong and take up space, right? So there's something to be said for us women that we can learn something from men. Usually men have or appear to have more confidence. And a lot of it is because of the way that they've been taught to stand, sit, walk. I think just by taking 30 seconds a day to mindfully strike a posture, strike a power pose, all right, can change your brain in any situation. Figuring out one small little thing, like a smile, like a pose. There's a book, a great woman, Amy Cuddy. She has researched how body language shapes who we are. And the research is all about rewiring our brain, basically taking a prescription to our brain and the brain releasing the chemical, I'm confident. And I think this is just a great place to start. And even becoming aware of how we feel and what our body posture, how it associates with that feeling. And that whether you feel it or not, all you have to do is change your body posture and your brain gets a signal. It actually works faster than a verbal affirmation. It's been proved. Research, scientific research has proved this. So this week, once a day, every day, I am going to have you take 30 seconds to strike a pose or smile and see what happens. This is just the beginning of starting to train your brain to get a signal that's different. Now, when you think of people who feel insecure, what do? They get small, they fold their legs, they cross their arms. When you're confident, what does that look like? So I'd like to target this either, I want to implement this so that it's part of your daily routine. We're going to be talking a lot about morning and evening routines. So this is going to be a part of a routine that you're going to have. Either you can do it in the morning or you can do it in the evening. I want you to make a specific time. Maybe it's, after you brush your teeth, or, I like using the bathroom because everybody goes there and it's a place where you can lock the door and have a private time so that no one has to know what you're doing for 30 seconds. you can always, even at work, you can go in the bathroom stall and you can do a power pose for 30 seconds. And it's just a way to tell your brain something different. And it naturally works. It's a natural prescription to the brain, and it gets the signal, and it's minimal effort. Minimal. So smiling, breathing, being big. We're talking about power pose, power posture, confidence building, brain prescription, giving a signal to our brain, I am. I'm so thrilled to open the perspective and open your brain to a new place. A place where change is going to create a safe, amazing place for you. And remember, resistance always shows up. Always. When we change from going one place to another, resistance shows up. And the best thing we can do for resistance is have an awareness and know its resistance when it shows up and continue to go forward. Continue to manage and control our destiny. This managing and controlling our thoughts is our greatest asset. We were created to have that power. We are created to create and enjoy. And everybody has that gift. Everybody. And I'm so thrilled to see you on this journey and to watch your potential and your true nature come out. Your birthright.